Da-da-da-da-dum-dum-da-dum-dum. Oh my gosh, I'm not meant to be on the internet. Hello everybody, welcome to the second episode of my booktube channel. I know I had already promised you guys that I would get a tag video up and running, but as previous awkward, quiet video before this has told you, I have a lot of technical difficulties. So nothing that I want to do works at all, ever. So now I am trying to start using a photo booth to go into iMovie, to go onto YouTube, to go on to somewhat having some sort of technological competence. Good luck to me. Anyways, so instead of going and starting my amazing book tag, I know, I'm humble, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to review a book. I know, right? I'm actually going to do it. This is really weird. So the book that I want to review today is Etiquette and Espionage. I'm assuming that I will learn how to put a picture here. Somewhere here should be a book. Somewhere. So that is the first steampunk novel that I've ever read, ever in my life. I didn't even know what steampunk was, honestly God, before a year ago. You could probably hear the road now too, can't you? We're off to an amazing start. Etiquette and Espionage is about a girl named Sophronia. Okay, so I'm gonna let y'all know that I used to call Sirius Black Cyrus, so in my little literary world, I cannot pronounce names of characters to save my life. So don't take my characters' names for seriously. Pun intended. She's a little bit of a juvenile delinquent in this steampunk society, and her mom wants to get her straightened out, so they send her to a finishing school, which is apparently a thing. Finishing schools. Who would have thunk? And it turns out that this finishing school is not exactly what an average finishing school is like. Not only do you learn how to play with doilies and how to properly curtsy, you learn how to kill people. I'm assuming, because we haven't gotten there. Pretty sure she's still, what, 12? 12? I think? Okay, yeah. Great thing about this book plot-wise is I feel a lot of Lemony Snicket-ish stuff. Is that a word? Lemony Snicket-ish? I'm a writer, people. There are a lot of dark, whimsical effects that when reading this steampunk novel, you kind of get caught up. I figured if you hadn't read a steampunk novel before, this is an absolute great one to start with, because it's almost like it's a gateway drug to steampunk, because the descriptions, and although I might have not understood the plethora of terminology, why did I just use the word plethora? I don't know. It kind of just happened. It's definitely an easy way to get into steampunk, or if you always wanted to read a steampunk novel and wasn't sure where to start, I think that especially in the YA steampunk genre out there, hello, this is definitely a great way to start that. The writing style, I've never read a Gail Carriger book, and I've heard that this is her first YA book and it's a series. How amazing is that? I'm not sure if I'm going to get into her older stuff. I think that I'm definitely going to stick with this little plot of Etiquette and Espionage. On the back of the book, I cannot remember where it was from, but it said that this is like a steampunk version of Harry Potter, when in reality, it really is very Lemony Snicket, because although, would Lemony Snicket be considered steampunk? Huh? Because there's some real similar eeriness to both stories. Let me know. Let me know. Steampunk readers, please. Comments below. Educate me. It's a great method in still making it feel very YA reading. However, does stay true and authentic to what I believe is a steampunk narrative. That is the non-spoiler section. I'm very bad at non-spoiler sections because every time I talk about a book, I kind of just want to be like, oh my god, this happened. I fangirl about books all the time, and it's terrible. So, yeah, if you haven't read the book, go read it, come back, fangirl with me, because you know you want to. You know you want to. Just go read the book. So, everybody else who's probably ahead of the bandwagon of steampunk before I am, here's a spoiler section. I think, how do I explain this? I think that it was a great start-off book. It felt it didn't feel very YA to me at the beginning. It felt very children's book. However, I think it's because when getting into YA, like, there's a lot of plot twists in new YA books. Like, almost at the end of every single chapter, there was something new, something new, something new. But when it came to reading Etiquette and Espionage, it felt very paced and very, like, slow when it came to letting little parts of the plot known to all of us. So I appreciated that a little bit, because sometimes you don't want to have plot twists thrown in your face every 3 chapters that just throw you off to wherever the book is heading. It's very well paced. The amazing thing is that it gave a lot of foundation to characters that we generally might overlook, but its foreshadowing is pretty legit. I feel like, I don't know, everybody who reads YA novels thinks this, but you think that you know when a foreshadowing subtext has been put in. Like, you're like, oh, yeah, they just said that this was found here. I know, this is gonna show up in book 2. I know what you're talking about. Like, we all just think we're just YA know-it-alls that just know everything that's going to happen. And I felt like I could kind of get that in this book, because there were plots in Sid Heeg, like secondary characters, who had like really good foundation for Sid Heeg. Again, I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but her plot was pretty interesting. I feel like I really want to know what was it. I want to know a little bit more about her pack. Her pack is definitely going to come into the story somehow. I don't know. There is a little bit of a secret between her best friend, whose name's Sephorna's new best friend. His name I cannot remember. I want to say the name of the best friend in the selection for some reason. A whole different book. There's the teachers. The teachers have their own little iffiness about themselves, because firstly, how the hell do you get into this profession? I want to see the PowerPoint presentation for that business plan. Braithwaite, I swear to God I can't say names. Braithwaite's story is super interesting. How he can't stay away from his queen, or he can because he's a certain kind of vampire. That's an interesting one. I think that the only thing I didn't like about the plot of this book is that I had absolutely no care for the prototype at all. Like, this prototype that they kept talking about, I didn't give two... You know what, I'm gonna keep this friendly and not swear in this video. It didn't mean so much to the plot, I guess, at the end, especially with the character that was withholding information. Why does she get to withhold information? What does she have on the teachers? We don't know yet. More foreshadowing. Something's gonna happen. But I think that although this prototype itself probably has to do with something in a much bigger picture, like whatever it has to do with the communicating and all that stuff, I genuinely didn't care about. Funniest part in this book had to be the fact that they fully on believed werewolves, and they had to enlist in the government, as well as the fact that vampires existed and that they were a part of schools. All these crazy things that were going around, everybody fully believed. But what shocks Sephornia and some other people sometimes? The fact that there were colored people. One thing that I always do after reading an entire novel is I try to come up with quotes that I like, and that's something that might happen unless I really didn't like the book. But because I'm a library rat, I don't have the book on me right now, and I forgot to take the quote down. But the quote was how Sephornia's sister was threatening that she would go to a not to a fitness school, but kind of given away to the vampires, And Sephora's response was, "Oh no, they'll make me dress up in the latest clothing," and yada yada yada. I don't know why, but that made me giggle. It's a very lighthearted book, very light read, very refreshing, and I think anybody who wants the gateway drug to steampunk should hop on this bandwagon soon. Do it. Thanks for watching my first review to Gail Carriger's Etiquette and Espionage. I hope this hasn't been completely vague or boring for you. I promise that I will get better. I've kind of already started getting lazy with the position of my laptop because it is now on my lap and is starting to burn a hole through my pants. So I am going to send off. See you guys later, and for God's sakes, read something.